Cool. Welcome everyone to our first podcast of QuantWheel, and I have the pleasure to join with Ananya from Vanquish Trader. They're the options trading prop firm, one of the rare ones out there, and yeah, really glad to have you out here. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Ivan. I'm very grateful for you and the whole gang at QuantWheel. I'm excited to dive in and have a great chat with you. And the future's bright, and I don't have to stay bright. So I'm grateful you can have me on as the first guest. And I'm all let's rock and roll, man. It's a great Friday today, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I hear you just flew into Miami. That's awesome. You're between Boston, Miami, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I'm between Boston and Miami predominantly because my family migrated from Kashmir to Boston and Miami in uh, around the 90s, and so I was always going back and forth there from a young age. But I moved to Puerto Rico about 4 years ago on a whim when I had left New York. So I had spent a lot of time in Boston and New York, and then Miami because of my family. But Puerto Rico was kind of, I never expected to live there and work there and build there. But I have very good people there. So what keeps me there is my good family. I have a lot of good family, and family isn't just blood. Family is the feeling in your heart of love. So I have great people in Boston. I have great people in New York, great people in Miami, and great people in Puerto Rico. And I'm very grateful for all those people because they've benefited me greatly in my ventures. So
That's wonderful. Yeah, like it's also all relatively close. So
yeah, it's not too far.
my family is all across the world, and I would love it for them to be closer.
Yeah.
But yeah, for QuantWheel's podcast, we just want to meet with great people in the industry, get to know you better, get to know your strategies, your take on options trading, and yeah, just have a introduction to the community. So
Absolutely.
I hear you've been trading from a very young age. Like, how did that happen? How did your path look like from, I don't know, 15 years
Yeah.
old? No.
So I had actually made my first trade when I was 17, just turning 17 years old. And from a very young age, I was always inclined to start my own business. I remember one time I had when I was like 10 years old, I wanted to make a hair oil because my uncles were all balding, and I would be like, yo, you should take this because you're bald. And my mom was like, that's so negative and mean. I'm like, no, mom, I want to give them so maybe I can start a business from this. They're all bald. But so I was always very out there, outgoing when it came to being entrepreneurial. But when I was 10, I was a caddy at a golf course, and I used to carry golfers' bags on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 years old till about, I would say, 20 years old, and even further, and even before that, till about 17 years old. So about 7 years of caddying, I had saved up a good lump sum of money that I had in the bank, and I had asked my mom and dad one day that if I can open up a brokerage account because I was very curious about finance in general, about where things were going. I was hearing so much buzz, especially when it was the early days of Tesla and EV. I was very just intrigued by a lot of things, and I'm also just a naturally curious human. And my dad, who is a very amazing gentleman, he brought me to his financial advisor's office when I was 15. So my dad's financial advisor was giving him a summary of his portfolio. And this is where it all began. My dad lost my dad's financial advisor had not been advising him the proper way. And I was looking at it all. It was just a slew of investments that were down bad, horrible. And I stormed out of there as a 15-year-old kid. I'm like, Dad, your guy is he's screwing you basically. He's like, my dad's just an intelligent gentleman from India. He's software was his background, and I took that to heart. I said, dude, if this guy can do this, I can do it. So I told my parents that night, I said, Mom and Dad, can you please open me up a brokerage account? My mom started yelling and screaming. She's like, stop. She's loud. She's a 4'5" Indian woman, and she's really loud. And so she said, don't even think about it. Get out. Like, if you say that one more time, just get out of the house. And she was a very aggressive woman. So like, it wasn't just like a small no. It was like no, like a loud, very aggressive no. And my father, like behind my mom's back, was like, I got you. Don't worry. Like, we're going to figure out a way. And the funniest part was I lived 5 minutes away from the broker and Scottrade. Scottrade is no longer a broker offered, but I'll never forget this. My home is 5 minutes away from the broker. So I said, Dad, can you please pick me up from school on Friday? And we go to see the broker. And my father was so kind enough and has so much faith that he took me to the broker. I had the check from my caddy money that I used to caddy for years. And I made my first investment in Tesla, or like Tesla at like maybe like, if you factor in like the splits and all that, maybe like a few bucks. Yeah. And and among other things was, I was very much inclined to invest in pharmaceutical companies, and pharmaceutical companies I had a lot of success in. But I didn't start trading options until I was about like 19. So I first started trading just regular shares. And when I was like 16, 17 years old using Scottrade, I would use leverage too. So I was taking, I'll give you an example, like $5,000, and it would give me buying power of $15,000. So I would just like swing trade earnings reports. I blew my account more times than I'd like to. But I kept on learning, and it led to a lot of success where, I would love to write down my theses on a piece of paper, and I always still do. I don't like to use my laptop to write my theses. When I invest, it's a piece of paper and a pen, and I like to write down my theses, and I have my papers over there. But I had a lot of support from the people around me as well. So I had a lot of good friends. I had a lot of good support in my younger brothers, and I never stopped learning. I always my theses were, for example, when it came to one particular great era in my life was when I was investing in BTC options. So I remember I was investing in Bitcoin options very, very early, around like when it was worth like $5,000 a BTC. And I understood options very well, so much so that like what I was getting into was criminal spreads. I had like these spreads were like 50, 60%, but I knew that if I'd aggregated the liquidity on these, I could potentially get a huge payout. And I ended up buying these BTC options at around like 5-6K a BTC, and then selling them at the top at like 60, 69. This was a while ago. Yeah. And I did that. And I used to make videos on YouTube and TikTok. And I remember my number one gain was a 55,000% gain on AMC. And I put it on TikTok. So if you ever find my TikTok or whatever it is, you'll notice that I made, and I'm grateful to God that this even happened, was I made 55,000%, all because I got a phone call from a friend of mine who was a very, very, my dear friend. He said, Ananya, these options, they look mispriced. There looks to be some form of manipulation on the downside. And that if you buy calls on AMC and you buy them where you buy the $5, $6, $7, $8, you're going to do really well. And I'm so grateful that I listened to him. And it's all business is just people. If I hadn't picked up the phone that one snowy Boston night, that next morning AMC doubled. And then the next few months, it went up 10x. And then let me also paint another picture was, I don't know if you're familiar with Bitcoin mining companies on like the high level. So I was looking into the Bitcoin mining companies around the same time as I was with AMC and all the craze around like the most shorted stocks. And this was the same time I was investing in Bitcoin options as well. So I was investing in Riot and Mara at $1. And I still have all my records. I put them on TikTok and I put them online. And I made about maybe like 15,000% on those Riot options. And I was buying them where Riot was worth about $1 and $1 to $2. And I ended up selling it where Riot was like 50. And I put it on video, and I'm grateful that even happened. But the point was, I also like sprayed that. I told all my friends, I told my guys, I told my teachers, I said, yo, man, you got to buy Riot right now, because the Bitcoin mining companies are going to essentially become the Bitcoin banks eventually, because they're the ones that are consistently bringing in money. And that's what the bank should be doing, is like consistently bringing in money. So that was my thesis was that. But what the deal was is I understood that you don't need to be trading every day. You just need to have a few great moments and a few great theses that lead to a much higher vibrational frequency, because it's not about how much money you make. It's about, first of all, how you keep it and how you grow it, how you protect it. And so a lot of that, you know, I'm grateful that I made it, but I also had good people to tell me how to diversify it as well, you know, and that's where it kind of like selling options comes into play too, you know, because it's a much more fruitful strategy, because you essentially are a market maker, and you have that the concept of, you know, 95% of the options contracts expire worthless. So believe this, on the way up on GameStop and AMC, me and my guy realized, why not just sell calls? So we started selling. I know it was dangerous, but we were selling calls and puts. So we were selling on GameStop was at like 400, and a lot of these companies were really high. I'm like, dude, this can't go up forever. There's no liquidity. No one's bidding above this level. And I'm grateful that I have a very wide knowledge base of technical analysis, that I was like, this is not going to go up forever. So I really got to play in the last like 5 years. I got to play both sides.
So you sold naked calls on.
It was ridiculous. Yo, I was down. Yeah, I was down a lot. And me and my partner, we started to sell a lot of the position that we had, and we realized there was no bids above. Like, you can just tell there's no liquidity above.
So, that's brilliant. Yeah. Thanks for sharing this whole story, and props to like your dad and to push you forward. And I think you mentioned one thing about it's not about making money but keeping it and like investing it. That's actually exactly what, I don't know, it was maybe 13 years ago, where like Luca bought me a book. Luca is our mutual friend.
Oh yeah, I love Luca.
First book on investing I've ever read. And he wrote in there like, there's no doubt you'll make money, but like you have to learn how to invest it. That was like, after that moment, I started looking into crypto as well, back in the days. And my first kind of crypto win was also 33,000% on some coin. It ended up being a scam actually. But
but I'd love to hear your story, man. Like I'm grateful to speak on my end. How did you get into options and trading in general and being around the good people?
Exactly. It's the same thing as you mentioned, just being around good people. So that's the story of like how I got into investing. I also have a story with my parents where like, I'm from Croatia, and Croatia is a wonderful country, a lot of brilliant people. It's just the money is always not, it sometimes can be tight, right? So like I was thinking in my room, what's the root cause of all these problems? And it's like, hey, if everyone just had a bit more money, then like the life would be wonderful, right? And then obviously you hear from people stocks, and I just started like paper trading. But also like, even paper trading was like a taboo topic. Like, what are you doing? You're gonna lose everything, right? Even though I'm just doing paper stuff. So I remember like doing that from the young age. And then once I met Luca, he introduced me to just investing and just basic like S&P. And I realized, hey, there's gonna be so many ups and downs in the market throughout my life. So why not just risk it all while I'm young and learn throughout the way, right? So like I picked it because it was like on an uptrend, and I knew, okay, probably it's gonna bust the bubble, but in that experience and being in the game in, I don't know, 2018, I'm gonna learn so much that that experience is gonna pay off times 10. So that's what I did. Like, started investing in crypto first, trading in crypto, and then once it got down, I went into options. The first option deal, I also got introduced. Like, I got into Microsoft in Canada, and my friend there, my buddy, he's been in Microsoft for 20 years, and he took me like as a son, and he showed me like around the city, and also like introduced me to options as well.
Wow,
Shout out to Gurge, by the way. He's been awesome. The
that's
first
amazing.
trade like I wanted to do is to buy puts on Tesla, and my account still wasn't set up. And I asked him, "Hey, can you make this trade for me? Like, I just throw in like $5,000." The next day, that put went from five, like the money will go from 5,000 to like 35,000, like in one day times seven. So that was like, whoa, this is just crazy. Um,
That's amazing.
but
I
then, yeah,
love to hear
that first trade, like, okay, you start buying puts, you start selling stuff. Eventually, buying stuff, like you just lose money. So I've been trying to like find the strategies for 6 years, and finally settled on selling puts and wheeling as kind
that.
of
Yeah,
the most stable and actually income producing strategy. But yeah, that's a short summary.
that's beautiful, man. I love to hear that. I really do. And it's I'm grateful that we have parents who came from a different land,
Yeah.
because our viewpoint on how to create value, in my opinion, comes a lot from how our parents were raised. I always tell myself that if I how great I am to have a great mom, how great I am to have a great dad, because they both pulled me in different directions.
Mm.
One had utmost faith, my father. My mom was like, go be a doctor and be a lawyer, something that you're probably going to be really good at, sustained as a career. But I'm grateful that I was definitely born. I have naivety in me, because like you just said, you're young, go put it all in. I'm 29 years old. My first investment was when I was 17,
Yep.
and even before that too. Like, I always I was always a hustler. So trading options in those 12 years of time has given me utmost good positive energy in the form of love in my heart, because it makes me want to understand what the next deal is. I remember talking to you about Teledoc, and so where I find these once in a lifetime opportunities where like all you need is one. I
Mm.
look at it like when I looked at Tesla back at like a few bucks, or like BTC back like at a few bucks, or like Riot Mar at a few bucks. Like, I see Teledoc as the same thing. It's virtual care. And if we're going to give some alpha here, I personally think that Teledoc is a perfect opportunity to sell puts, or buy shares and sell puts, or even buy shares and sell calls. But I think that the really, really once in a generational opportunity in virtual care, with the best in class product. I've seen the product. I'm not just talking willy nilly, Tom. This is a company that has millions of users, but has gone down from $350 a share to eight. What the heck? Eight, dude. If you look at that spread and the potential there for making money just on the shares front, and then you sell calls and you really just take advantage of the volatility, man, you can make a banger play on that one.
Yeah, that was a good call. I sold some puts, and then I don't know, I took 30% of the profits to buy calls for future. Right. That's
That's a
like
great position. I know some of
um,
my friends are doing that right now, and
yeah.
I think a lot of people are. But I see it. I love to look at oversold and overbought territories. When I was younger, I always used to dictate my theses partially on technical analysis, and so I'm a very big believer in obey the chart, respect the chart. There's no emotions in the chart. So I'm a big fan of also looking at triangles, whether that's bullish pennants or bearish pennants. I see Teledoc as something that's gonna potentially go past its all-time highs. If you look at that, it's $8 versus $350. That's a potential 45x just on the shares front. So if you could think about selling puts, everyone who's watching this, everyone who's part of QuantWheel and everyone associated, you got to look at it as it's simply oversold. It went from 350 to 8, and it has a great in class product. I'm saving everyone the due diligence. I've looked at it. It looks like it's, and when you compare it to every one of the other virtual healthcare platforms, Teladoc is definitely poised for greatness. Other ones that I love to look at when it comes to selling puts as well, I love PayPal. I'm a big fan of PayPal.
Yep.
Huge fan of PayPal, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
think what they're doing for the stablecoin adoption is unlike anything else, considering they have the most number of users for a wireless transaction platform. And I think that the adoption when it comes to blockchain technology is also going to bolster them. Also, the fact that they're growing their user base, they're growing their revenues, potentially growing product lines, whatever that entails for how they're going to keep on catering for new upsells when it comes to the customer. But I also think that even buying, like I said, Riot and Mara, Bitcoin mining companies again, I think those are good ones to sell puts on, because they're definitely getting beaten up compared to the underlying value of BTC. Like Bitcoin keeps going up, but the Bitcoin mining stocks keep going down. Value, it's all the value there, and it's all in the eyes, and it's all about who you talk to too. I get these teledoc theses from some of my. I'm not gonna lie. I have a good person that gave me the teledoc thesis, a good friend of mine, and so it is definitely in the eye of the beholder. But I'm grateful I just get good information from good people.
So yeah, well, I'm glad it went into this direction because one of the hypotheses, okay, for us in QuantWheel is that hey, options trading and selling options is the best thing ever, but it's very complex, even for tenured people, and it takes a lot of time. And the best thing to get around is like with the community, and not like having to do a bunch of research, but just like getting a quick signal. It's like ultimate vision is it's gonna be a community where you can just in one click follow someone's trade. Like okay, you see the reasoning, you see the actual signal, and then boom, like it's all just super simple and one click experience. But I know you're also building something similar for like as a prop firm. I'm just curious, like, what's the biggest challenge right now while building an options trading prop firm?
So Vanquish Trader is the world's first funded options platform, and we also do offer funded stocks with a growing potential for forex, futures, and funded crypto as well. And growing it in general has been a true blessing by the graces of the universe and God. And many successes have come ever since we launched in the last October. But you're asking me, what are the challenges? The challenges were aligning everyone to be as positive as possible that this is going to work. And there's two things that we had to worry about. We had to worry about our risk management as a firm, and how are we going to aggregate and please our users to stay and to minimize them leaving for whatever reason. A lot when you're building something, it's all just people. Business is just people. I have a very good teacher in Puerto Rico who told me, Ananya, business is just people. And this was 5 years ago, back when when you're younger, you definitely are more naive and you can be swayed in different directions to think that someone's good, but they might not have your best interest at heart. But business is just people. I got blessed that my best friends in the world called me up one day. They said, yo, man, we got to build this. There's a gap in the market. We need to work together. I said, I got you. We're going to discuss it right now. And it started off with like a handful of us. We said there's a gap in the market. Let's build a risk model. And a lot of us already come from trading backgrounds. So we fortified the risk model. And ever since then, it's been getting fortified, so much so that we started with offering simple buying and selling calls and puts. Now we have the ability to sell options and day trade options. That's where awesome. You can straddle. You can do iron condors. If you're big fans of those, you can do butterflies awesome. And all those good deals. You can trade SPY, QQQ. You can trade anything on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. Typical U.S. options are offered, and our most popular vehicle is the SPX 0DTE.
Yep.
So as we know that the retail eye has caught on trading 0DTE options because they move in a way where it's could be very profitable. And I'm grateful that we're using, we have a lot of help from the guys at Tasty Trade and TD who have helped us build Vanquish when it comes to the actual platform. So the UI UX, I'm a stickler about UI UX, and I always have been since I was a child. The UI UX of Vanquish, we use a platform called DX Trade. And beautiful platform, beautiful people that we work with. I'm so grateful to be able to work with DX Trade and all those guys down there, blessed guys. And we're waiting for Apple to release our iOS app. We're just going back and forth with them, but our web trader is state of the art. And so we offer buying. It's simply put, you subscribe to trade. So you pay an X amount. I think our lowest plan is like $99 a month, and you get access to 10K buying power, and you can get up to 150K in buying power. And it's very simple. So you pass an evaluation account, and then you move on to a performance account. All you need to do is you need to make 10 trades. You need to have a profit target, and you need to be consistently trading. And the consistency rule is no single profit amount of profit can be more than 30% of your total profit. And then once you pass those criteria, you move on to a performance account, where in that performance account, you still have to be consistent. But any profit you make, you get to keep as long as it's above a certain threshold of about like $350 or $300. But we had launched this in October, and no one is, we don't have any genuine competition. Our user count, I'll be totally honest, it multiplied in the last couple of days because we ran a 90% off deal, and we saw a huge amount of user growth, revenue growth, payout growth, and overall positive energy that's been aggregated in the ecosystem. So I'm so excited because people love to buy options, but what I've noticed also, people love to sell options on Vanquish Trader. I'm seeing it. I'm even going to do it today. I'm going to go sell options after this call on Vanquish Trader, and I'm going to do whatever. And I'm grateful that even exists in the universe.
Now, when you talk about it, by the way, like the UI is awesome. Like once I got to the website, like immediately you know what's going on there. Like I think you did a great job. And
thank you. Man.
Now that I know you can do iron condors on SPY 0DTE, I might also do it myself as well. I think actually iron condors are probably one of the best. Like 0DTE iron condors are a great strategy for even just a small account, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
You're playing off the volatility right there. I agree. It's a beautiful thing because not a lot of people who trade options have the, like when it comes to buying power, it is cheaper to buy a package with Vanquish Trader than it is to buy an options contract on SPY. If you are trading on your broker and you're having to pay like $200 for a SPY contract versus getting and subscribing for $100 on Vanquish, where you get like 10K in buying power, you're, as long as you remain disciplined, which a lot of people I pray are, you can first of all, you can learn more, and you can potentially put yourself in an area where you can make it a living. Like at the end of it all, with QuantWheel, you want people to consistently make a living from selling options or even buying options. But with Vanquish, that's a beautiful thing I see, which is why when we got on the phone with Luca and with the whole gang, like we didn't even have the opportunity. I said, yo man, we're gonna eventually have the ability to sell options. I remember I told you this. I had this conversation with you, and we didn't have it. And with just a little bit more positive energy, we finally released the selling options ability, which I am so freaking excited because I know I might not like. I'm screaming on the inside because no one understands how big this is going to be, except I believe maybe a couple of my buddies. I do. Yeah. That selling options is going to be the next attractive vehicle for a retail trader. Whether we like it or not, that's where the data is telling me it's going. It's where you can do an iron condor on a 0DTE, or you can perform a butterfly, or this, or a straddle, or a strangle, whatever it is. That's the beauty.
Yeah, I really believe like we are heading into an uncharted territory when it comes to financial markets in general, right? Like everything is changing, and selling options really does give you a unique risk management that people will need in the future for like still generating income, right? So like I really believe like in the next 10 years, like SPY is not gonna perform that well. And it's like if you need like retirement income, SPY is still your growth fund. It's like it's not your safe haven. So like people will start to look at alternative options, and selling options is, I think, undiscovered.
It is.
Really.
It is, because the opposite is true. People want to buy options now more than ever. As a matter of fact, they want to go all in when it comes to buying directionally. So buying directionally can bid you very well. If you become essentially the market maker and you just sell the shares, you feed off of the concept of 95% of options contracts expire worthless. You create this new strategy that never existed. And instead of being on the unlikely end of making money in options, you become more likely to make money in options and create a risk profile that works for you, which is why I'm so in love with QuantWheel, because now you give people the ability to absorb it in a very quick way too, because people don't necessarily want to be given the whole thesis and like this. They just want a signal. You know what I mean? They just want like, do it.
Yes.
Okay, Ivan's doing it. Oh, Ananya's doing it. Luca's doing it. Okay, I got to do it now too. But it's a beautiful thing, because it can be done on, you know, whatever your broker is. You know, it's just about who you listen to, who your information is coming from. You know, exactly. I get good information all the time from you, from Luca, all the time. I'm grateful. I have good men in my life who teach me things and who serve me well, who I can have the opportunity to love and serve as well. That's all it is.
Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, that's what actually we have, like lives in our channel, and when people tell me, hey, like I didn't know about options 2 months ago, and now I made 8% return month over month.
That's so amazing. I love that.
It's really like just one person's sharing that, like it puts my motivation level through the roof, right? It's like it just being like grateful that, hey, people see the wow moment in their life. Like it could change their life. It's just a very, very heartwarming thing to see.
Well, men were born for the sake of each other. So we have to love and serve each other. We have to teach each other, tolerate each other. And then we also have to understand that everyone is a mirror for what you need to see and hear. So, you know, even if it is just one person, that person can catalyze and inspire the next 100 people. It's all about connecting at the heart and showing people some love. And money is just a consequence of that, making money. And that was what I got. You know, my dad just believed in me. He said, son, go. Just do whatever you have to do. And that love translated into running like crazy. And I'm so grateful. You know what's funny is I definitely credit my father into giving me all of my success, and my mother as well, to even building something like Vanquish Trader. Like if my dad hadn't been like, go do it,
yes,
there would be no aggregation of positive energy around my people who helped me build Vanquish Trader the righteous way. You know, I'm one part of a team that is amazing. You're one part of the team that's amazing too. So coming together, we're a family. So that's all it is. And family is the most important thing in the universe. I pray one day I have my own wife and kids that I can give Vanquish Trader to, because we have to do them for that generation. We are simply here to guide them, and the future is in those people's hands, the young generation who are children, who are unborn. And it is us to forge our character the right way, to teach them the right qualities. Like investing is not easy. Investing, and especially with options, comes with discipline. It comes with consistency, and most importantly, it comes with the fact that you must never give up. People give up all the time, like, oh, I lost all my this and that. But that's when you're down bad. That's when you got to learn. That's when you just told me, when you were down, you learned, you taught yourself what the real deal is, and most importantly, you had good people around you who taught you how to do things the right way. Same with me, and that's why we're similar, Ivan. And I'm grateful for that, because I can always learn from you. I'm grateful to do so.
You dropped so many gems today. I'm really grateful you took the time to do this. So big thank you, Ananya.
You're my brother, man. We're brothers, so that's all it is, man. It's all love from my heart. No matter if you're in Croatia or you're here in Boston or whatever it is, you know, I have good brothers in my life, and we're here for each other. So
one question I want to ask everyone before, like towards the end of the episodes, is like, what's the one piece of advice you would give everyone going into options, or maybe in options for 5 years?
The one piece of advice I was given by my teacher, he said, Ananya, everything you need is already inside of your heart. So trust your instincts when it comes to trading options. Trust your instincts. And trusting your instincts is listening to first and foremost to your heart, to yourself, and then listening to those people around you, whether it's mom and dad, whether it's your boys, whether it's your girlfriend. Always be sensitive to the information around you, because everything just comes, it's all people. And if you keep good, strong, honorable, and virtuous men around you and women around you, then that energy, the aura, feeds into your heart and you make better decisions. I will give you an example. I was when I was first starting on options, I had very, very negative mindset. I was just trying to make as much money as I possibly could as a young kid, being very ignorant. As a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, it was only in the last few years that I make significant money when it came to options trading, because I had good people around me. So listen to good people. If you're listening to me right now, listen to your heart. And listen, first of all, listen to the good things that mom and dad tell you when it comes to shaping your character. And then find good men and women around you that can teach you the righteous way. Like you yourself, Ivan, you yourself are a good teacher. I think that people should listen to Luca, our good friend Luca. And if you want, you can also listen to my good positive energy. And it all comes down to who you're around. They say, you are the sum of the people you hang around. And that applies to options as well. You don't take advice from someone who's failed at options. You want to take, and just failed. You want to take advice from someone who has failed. And then how did they treat the failure? Did they give up? Did they have negative energy when they're like, oh, why me? Or did they get themselves out of the rut by learning the lessons? I don't care about how many successes someone had. I want to hear about the time when your back was against the wall and your shit was about to get ripped open and you're sweating and everything. You only have one shot, one opportunity, and you made it and you did it. And by the graces of the universe, that's what I'm talking about.
That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. So it's been 6 years of failure after failure after failure, failed strategy. You work months and months and months and months, you're diligent, and you still fail at the end. Okay, after 6 months of good discipline, just one bad trade or one moment of, oh, I think I'm the best, I think I know everything, it can destroy you, right? And then obviously having people to push you forward is probably the best way to get out of that crisis, right?
I agree, man. And I'm just grateful, man. I'm very grateful. I'm excited to see where QuantWheel takes the next generation of traders. I really am, because it's gonna happen in the blink of an eye. People are gonna see it and they're gonna be enthralled. They're gonna be excited.
I don't know if you heard. I think this is my last thought. Some of the companies out there, I don't know if it's Shopify or Spotify, they have 1,000 engineers, and they're hiring 1,000 interns at the same time. Why? Because of the generational shift in thinking about building software with AI, right? It's just it's that mentality that you're born with in that particular moment, and you have to use AI to get that next level of software building. I think we're gonna see the similar stuff in investment trading as well. People, young guys getting that mind shift very early in the age is going to change the future for investing as well. So
I agree. People are just going to use an agent that's somehow an AI agent that's somehow attached to Ivan's strategy or Luca's strategy or Ananya's strategy. Exactly. And then they don't even have to listen to a third party. They just have to listen to the good person that you are, your positive energy. I don't have to go think about what my iron condor is. I don't have to think about it. I just trust an Ivan, which is a beautiful thing. I had trusted my mom and dad. I trust my teachers. I trust my best friends. It's all about trust, trust, trust. And then you lead. Then trust is a precursor to success. You have had to have trusted yourself, and then you have had to trust your people around you, and then you get any sort of success. That's the deal with how you can succeed in options. You have to keep yourself as positive as possible. Do your prayers. I pray every day. I write every day, and I read every day. Holy literature is very, very positive scripture. It's all about how you can aggregate positive energy. And people should listen to people like you, because you're a very blessed guy. People should listen to Luca, me, and if you feel that you're aligned with our theses. And that's only going to be streamlined with AI, in my opinion.
yeah, obviously, like we'll want them to like learn throughout the experience, right, and make it super simple. It's like aha
Yes.
moment, aha moment, aha moment, one after another, and they just like learn through the experience as well,
Yes.
based
That's
on the
more
community
important.
you're in, right? So
Yeah.
um, thank you. Some of the things you shared today were just awesome. Like first time I heard someone actually say they write on the paper their strategy.
Yeah.
These days, people
Yeah.
just say, "Hey, write a back test or something." But I really think that it's really undervalued to just look at the paper, stare at the wall, and think, right? And just have it in your mind super, super clearly, rather than
Yeah.
just chasing Reddit and yeah, trying to figure out it that way.
Yeah. It's a
Thank
good
you,
practice.
thank you
It's a
so
great
much
practice.
for your time. I think this was a wonderful
Thank
start
you.
for this series, and yeah, hope you have a good flight as well.
Thank you, Ivan. Have a great day. I'm very grateful to discuss anything with you, and have a wonderful day. Stay blessed. Be happy. If you need anything, just call me up, and I look forward to it, man. The future is bright, and it ought to stay bright. So have a
That's
wonderful
great.
day, my friend.
Thank you, Anna.
Cheers.